It is still business breakfast this beautiful Tuesday morning, the 5th day in the month of December 2023. My name is Omobolanli Adeshui. Well, experts have underscored the urgent need for the federal government to focus on Nigeria's overlooked logistics, courier, and transport sector, valued at over 3 trillion naira. They made this disclosure at the Courier and Logistics Management Institute conference and investiture CLMI, which was held in Lagos with the theme, quote, Logistics Solutions and National Infrastructure Development, end quote. The CLMI Executive Chairman, Professor Simon Emeje, emphasized that the field of courier logistics and transport management had not received the attention it needed from the Nigerian government as the sector remained relatively untapped on a global scale. Now, joining me to discuss this is Abdullahi Alibaba, a logistics expert. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
Now, let's begin by getting your assessment of what the logistics sector in Nigeria has been. How would you rate the performance of the logistics sector, and what attention do you think needs to be given to the sector?
It's quite, I'm honored to be here, and it's a very good topic because today, in the logistics sector in Nigeria is kind of being back, in terms of attention of government and every other thing. And today we are having, number one thing, people there was kind of debates around the price of commodity high and the rest of it, and all those things translate back to the logistics. Reason is this: now there is high cost of logistics because one, people has to find a way to send things to from the rural area to the urban city. Because of this, it increased because one, there is no poor infrastructure in road, which is the major paramount as a major factor, determinant factor for logistics to thrive.
Yeah, we are talking about first your assessment. How do you think it has performed over the years?
In terms of assessment of government to this is nothing to write home about. It's not well, the attention is not there, and it's just, I can give government just 10%.
Yeah, but what about the sector itself?
Yeah, the sector
in carrying out its role of ensuring that goods move from the producer to the consumer.
Yeah,
how would you say that's
the sector has really grown over time, because if you look at what it was in the previous years, there was a time to even send something to, this is where I come into it. There is what we call the trend of logistics and the future of logistics in Nigeria. And if you have to look at this perspective, you have to look at what is the global trend of logistics if you want to strive. One, the evolution of digitalization was a very good thing that helped us, because before now, to send something to just come on Ibadan here, take this. Even if you are not careful, you lost that package along the road. Now, digitalization has helped us to track your shipment from point of giving someone, a logistic company to deliver. You can track your shipment sitting down in your home. That has helped. Digitization, technology involvement has really helped. Then you now come back. That tracking of your shipment, if you send me, you send a courier A to deliver for you, for example, and in those days you send somebody else to deliver for you, you are losing customers. If you're a business person and you have a brand to protect and you have a brand to sell out, the moment I can't deliver, I can't keep to my time, automatically people will lose trust in me. Timely delivery using digitization, which is technology, was number one revolution that came into logistics space. Even though the government were not putting much attention there, individual come together that we must let this sector strive. Then now, people are beginning to evolve into it. Then e-commerce come, kind of, it helps every other thing. The e-commerce comes, so we can deliver to your doorstep without any hindrance. That's where the coming in of Jumia 11 years ago. into the play of the
We're not here
e-commerce.
to market
No, no, no,
Jumia
no,
or
no.
any. I
No,
know
no, no,
you
no,
work
no.
with Jumia, but we're not here to market any company.
No, I'm not marketing.
We just want to focus on the logistics
Yes, I'm not
sector
marketing.
in Nigeria. And it's good that you've talked about the role that digitization played,
Yeah.
e-commerce and all of that, because I recall during the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the thriving businesses was logistics
Yeah.
because of the fact that it was digitized and
Yeah.
there was free movement of goods
Yeah.
despite all of the lockdown. Now, I'd like you to talk about the challenges. You already touched on some of them, but let's go down, talk about all of the challenges faced or that the sector is facing.
Yeah, number one, I've used to mention it before, which is the poor road infrastructure, then poor funding of that sector, then the
When you say poor funding,
Yeah.
what are the things you need fund for?
Government only received. They only received from the the logistic companies. They pay their tax, do everything, but receive at the back, they receive zero in terms of what government need to do. Like we talk about digitization. In most cases, there should be like how will I even there should be like in form of incentive that come from government, enable environment for those digitization center to be there. For example, to send your driver for a training, for example, should be a government institute that you should be able, as part of the tax you pay, be able to send them somewhere to acquire 21st century knowledge based on driver system in global standard. We don't have
Should that be the role of the government or
Government
the role of the logistics company?
It is a huge capital intensive, just coupled with what we think Nigeria is as a whole and how the logistics have able to evolve to where it currently is. It was even underestimated that it's 3 trillion. You understand?
You think it's more?
More than that. Because like in 2020, there was a statistic that shows that in 2020, Q1 was about the improvement. The improvement was raised from 2 point something percent. Then it later go back when you compare in Q2 2 point something 2.71%. Then you come back to Q2 of the same 2023 we are in now, due to fuel subsidy removal that happened during the Q2, it really affect that sector badly. Because government did not even look at it that who are the receiving end of this thing is the final consumer.
Well, the statistics says over 3 trillion. So
Yeah.
it could be 5,
Yeah,
it could be 6.
Yes.
So you're right in that sense. But let's look at the reason behind the lack of attention that the sector is getting from the government.
Yeah, major reason that I can say is that understanding. The government seems not to understand the potential of the sector. And how can we make them to understand? Thank God we have the youth today.
Why do you think the government doesn't understand? Any government should understand the importance of logistic and transportation sector.
Yes, any government should, in a real time, by the tongues. They would say, the logistics is the major thing because even during election, that is what make your material to get to the destination. Yes. Are you really giving the focus as it is? Agriculture, even the government even said the agriculture is the best, you understand, to help any nation. Let me just take you back. For a nation economy to strive and business to strive, logistics has to strive. If logistics suffer, the economy will cry. And that is what the world is currently fixing. Look at what happened. Like Nigeria and Africa setback on that. Because currently, Nigeria economy are suffering because we neglect logistics. That is just the fact. The global world.
When you say understanding, from what you explained, it's not a problem of understanding. It's a problem of neglect.
Yeah, neglect and understanding.
Because you are saying that they have some form of knowledge of the logistics sector when it comes to pen and paper. They can say that, yes, without any doubt, the logistics sector contributes largely to the growth of any economy.
Yeah.
But when it comes to practicality, when it comes to investing in that sector, then they, lag behind. So it's, to me, it doesn't look like a case of understanding. It looks like a case of maybe hypocrisy or lack of that political will to do the needful when it comes to that sector.
Well, if you say so, I will agree in one and I'll disagree in the other way. This disagreement comes to this is that today I can still tell you free that most of the top political players in Nigeria, Africa, have investment in logistics. But yet, they seem to look at it that it's something that let's just use it to do some certain things, not to help it go. Because if they want to do it, if you look at in 99, me and you know very well that to travel from here, that's where I come to travel from here to Benin, take us less than 2 hours, you're in Benin. Today you can spend, there was a time early this year, you are spending almost a day, 2 days before you get to Benin because there was a lot of bad infrastructure deficit on the road, along Ore Road, that caused serious problem. Government knows this. Today we are having the same challenges. To go to Port Harcourt today, you spend not less than 5 or 3 days to get to Port Harcourt. But before, we can go to Port Harcourt within 1.5 days. You are in Port Harcourt and you deliver when you want to deliver and you come back the third day. Reason is because there is a problem within Benin and Warri Road. So bad, vehicle has to stop there, no movement.
Okay, so let's focus, because I'm looking at some of the challenges you talked about. You talked about funding. Let's look at some of the areas that the logistics sector needs funding for.
Yeah, one, government has to quickly look at the how to discongest our port system. If our port system has to work need to work effectively, we need government to do the right thing because they know the right thing.
Is that funding? Is that a funding problem?
Yeah, it involves capital. Because one, this just has to come with some modern digital way of making things happen without property. Because you can't send a bulk of trucks to come to Apapa to pick something. You end up this thing. There was a batch system they introduced. During that batch system, it helped along because one, you have to, they do batching. The batching system was helping. All of a sudden, they stop it. If one government or the other want to visit, they make it look as if the whole thing is juicy. But by the time the person left, the Apapa area become a place of no-going area. For example, if they can make it in a way that container drop, everybody that want to date you, because Lagos is already as in overcrowded, overpopulated. There's no place you can just say, this land is free for me to just use this thing. Like Lagos and Ogun State can partner together. There is a lot of massive land in Ogun State that Lagos, Ogun State can use. Using a modern way of what? Train. We can go back to train transport to help us. Okay, train transport, I believe the previous government, they tried to do something on that, which I saw they just run it along this train station here, that they want to start using train to move some containers down to Kanu and discongest and Ogun State also and do this. If they can succeed in doing this project, which I believe because of the capital intensive, make them to be slowing, sending it from one generation of government to another. If they can focus on it and do it, already Lagos will be very, very, road will be free because bulk of all those things will not be like those going to the east, discongest at Ogun State. The one that is going to the north already en route to the north. You know how to, when you get to where you want to get to, you are at the port, at the train station to pick your container. This one is at the train station to pick his or her own container to the final destination. Doing that, our road will be what? If they construct road, it will be well managed. You understand? It will last. Because a lot of trucks are on the road and we have bad infrastructure in terms of road construction that they did. The quality is low because trucks, every blessed day you have not less than over 500 trucks who ply a particular road every day with heavy load.
Which of course has a detrimental effect on the road itself. But let's look at the statement by the former Minister of Communications, Barrister Adebayo Shitu, who urged the Institute to draft a comprehensive proposal for government adoption and offering assistance in facilitating engagement. So what do you make of this?
Is it the report he did, and he also mentioned leverage on the night post for delivery.
He's saying that the institute, that's the CLMI, should come together and draft a proposal for government adoption, and then from there they would, you know, get engagement and start discussing maybe some of the challenges.
Well,
do you think that's the
there's a
next
lot of
step?
journals. There's a lot of journals. If you go to the site, the institute, you see a lot of journals people has written to the government. You understand what way forward and how, you understand, to really make this sector a sector where everybody, I mean everybody will be able to say, yes, the sector is really thriving. Currently, to be honest, we can't compare ourselves with other nations in terms of logistics, in terms of the potential of logistics.
So are you saying that drafting a proposal to facilitate engagement is not the way to go?
If they do this, it's just to be like an addition to what they have written to the government.
You're saying there have been several.
Every sector has several journals, several proposals, several kind of people have written to government. One thing I just tell you is the same thing, because there is no continuity in government, and that's a major setback. When a nation, the moment a nation has chosen to be just me when I'm in power, and when they left power, the whole Nigeria has a fantastic. If you go to the National Assembly, there's a lot of bills that you see, fantastic bills that people pass, but implementation is the case. Those things are there. If you check there, you will see it. But implementation is the key. Nobody implements it. The moment the government left, the whole thing left. They just abandoned they put it on the archive. That's all. Nothing ever happened again.
Well, another proposal, and this is coming from still the former Minister of Communications, Adebayo Shitu, and also the executive chairman of the CLMI. That's the Korean Logistics Management Institute, Professor Emeje. They are calling on the federal government to establish a dedicated ministry to foster an enabling environment for Korea and logistics management. And, you know, they were drawing parallels between the recognition that the entertainment industry is getting and the logistics sector.
This will boost the sector more, and it's going to further help Nigerian economy.
How would a ministry, if the federal government dedicates a ministry?
Yeah.
So you think we should have a ministry of Korean logistics management?
You don't need that. It's going to be overcrowded. The ministry of it will be working directly under transport ministry.
There's a ministry of transportation.
I know. There is a ministry of transportation, which their major ideology, they are not really focused on the true picture of what transport is all about. If they are, because if you look at them, they just focus on some certain paperwork, not the practical aspect, like what the institute is want to do. If you look at India, for example, India has, that's why you see today, no country, if you go to Dubai, the major supply chain guys, you are going to see in the top level guys, India, and if you check all their resume, you are going to see that it's neither they graduate from India Institute of Transport and Logistics and so this thing. India we have it in Nigeria. It's of recent that we now started, Unilag started doing something of that nature in at master level, and some schools want to start BSc in transport and logistics too. This will further, if you have a ministry that would cater for this, they know there should be an allocation meant for this.
So what exactly are you saying? We already have a Ministry of Transportation.
They are not really
Are you saying that? Yes, so what are you saying? Are you saying there should be another ministry carved out of that, or what are you saying? If you're saying we shouldn't create another ministry.
No, they shouldn't create. Exactly. The same ministry, it will be well defined. It's like having a permanent sec, for example, that take care of a particular, in each of your ministry has different, you understand, arms that make a ministry. We should be able to have logistics, transport and logistics body there that cover everything, because transport ministers don't focus on anything that has to do with Korea and every other. Nothing concerning them. There is nothing. There should be people that we can easily reach. If you have issue as a company, logistic company, you should know where to go. Today, I'm telling you for free, people don't know where to go to.
That's a problem. That's a huge problem.
People don't know. That is why that suggestion came from.
Yeah, but this is not well defined. You just broke it down. It wasn't broken down that way. They are just saying that they should establish a ministry, dedicated ministry to foster an enabling
That's why I
environment
tell you,
for Korean
you know,
logistics.
when you have person without a practical knowledge of it, you know what to do because it's not his problem.
Because this is looking quite ambiguous.
Yes,
It's not specific.
You can't just because one to reduce government involvement the government don't have any. It's not supposed to be involving in business. Quite okay, but government need to create what
enabling environment for businesses to thrive.
If you are creating this ministry, you are creating more cost for government to use. Why creating the ministry when you have another? When you have a ministry,
so if you have another, for instance, if it's segmented,
yes,
and you have a Korea and Logistics Management Institute within
yes,
that ministry, would you have maybe a minister for Korean Logistics Management?
No, it's not minister. It's going to be like, how will I put it?
A commissioner?
Yes. The way INEC is segment them, you understand? It's going to be like that. A commissioner for that report to the minister.
Okay.
You understand? That minister in question present his case to the presidency for proper alignment. And in most cases, when they are going for a meeting, he can be able to even be part of it because it's his feed. He has the full knowledge, first-hand knowledge of what everything that people are crying for. People already, there will be more knowledge of what is really happening in this and how can we leverage on this money that is here. Because
he is a key player in
He's
the
a key
industry.
player. You understand? He will know what to do. It's because they don't have that knowledge on that aspect. They can write a lot of things and go away with it, but they need to ask the guys on the field. The guys, the players on the field. Currently, the young guys, the youth are so much interested in the logistics space and they are doing good.
So why do you think so? Why do you think, because it looks like yes, a lot of youths are now migrating towards that direction. You know, there was a time the federal government made moves to even curb the proliferation of different logistic companies.
Yeah, but currently, to be frankly speaking, that is the only sector that can solve the unemployment, that can reduce the unemployment rate.
Why do you think a lot of youths are migrating towards that direction?
The potential. There is a huge potential in logistics. One, the green, there are a lot of logistics arms that we have not harnessed. And people are beginning to look at it. I can come here and make more money.
Tell us about some of them.
The green logistics, people are not going there.
Is that agriculture?
No. The green logistics is that today, due to the global warming that the whole world is debating on, and currently there is a meeting going on in United Arab Emirates, either Dubai or wherever, I don't know, in one of the Emirates, there is something going on now that the whole world gathered to discuss about the global warming. Majorly is to...
Is it the one President attended in Saudi Arabia?
In Saudi Arabia, yes. What am I saying? That is what they are discussing there is also green logistics is the solution to most of the problem there. One, the green logistics is that the electric vehicle is coming to stay. The emission is harmless.
Is that green logistics?
Yes. Then another.
Isn't that more about the vehicle than the logistics itself?
What I mean is the green. Why we call it green logistics is that it's zero emission. The emission is not going to be there. Then the automate. There is going to be an autonomy vehicle that will come to stay, which Tesla is already working on, and there is another something Mao is working on it already. What they are doing is that they are working on it for how to strive in other African countries. In America, they have those vehicles. In some Europe countries, they have those vehicles already operational. Today, that is one of those things. They want it coming years. They want vehicles that can move without emission as in pollution. They want to reduce it. And in so doing that, it's now high time Nigeria has to be changing direction. That's why you see a lot of youth are moving in the direction of how can I use my knowledge of this to solve the problem for my people when it comes so that we'll not lag behind. Because what they are now doing now is to post, you are going to see a massive vehicles, petrol used vehicle that has emission in Africa more. From next year, in the next 5 years, you see them more here because the technology is not yet, the adaptation is not there. You understand, much like that. People are saying, and it's cost effective. It's very, very low to manage. Now, can we solve the problem? Yes, we can solve it. The youth are now going into it. People are trying extra money from their pockets. I need to have knowledge of this. I need to have knowledge of this.
Is it profitable?
It is. It is.
Despite all of the challenges of poor road network and all of that. It is.
What is going to happen is going to be regional wise. People will not use it to do a long haul operation. If I'm in Lagos, I cover what is within Lagos to solve the problem of the logistics of Lagos. That's what people is going into. The electric motor will soon be even more available in Nigeria. What they are doing now is that people are beginning to build the electric stations where you can charge. Okay. Using a solar or using a turbine.
Because I was going to say we still have power issues in Nigeria.
People have started doing that already. There is already that happening. Like mobile fueling station is going to, they are already even investing hugely in that aspect. They want to have it across some major cities in Nigeria. Lagos is one of the areas they start with. All the mobile fueling station we have where you can charge your car, electric car. As you drive so kilometer, you can do this because they are doing it in a way that you can last. Your vehicle can last. You can drive from here to Ibadan before you recharge.
Well, I hope that works out because in a country like Nigeria, where we're even still trying to, go deeply into renewable energy in terms of solar and wind energy and all of that, we're yet to get a grip of that, and we're looking at going into driving electric vehicles. We'll see how that pans out. Anyways, we have to remain optimistic. But I'd like to hear what other thoughts or suggestions you have for the government of the day in boosting and enabling the logistics sector.
Well, the cost of logistics in Nigeria is so high because of the activities of the Agberoism.
How's that?
Agbero.
Is it Agbero?
Agbero, yes. All those touts.
Oh, okay.
Yes, tout associated is across Nigeria now. Before, people say in the north, nobody will disturb you. Now, we're beginning to see some of those boys that are coming on the road to even ask for money. You cannot. Let me just give you one knowledge of something that you find yourself. To ship something from China to Nigeria is to port, just to drop it at the port there. It's cheaper than when you want to move that thing from port to Kano. Because the money you take clear, the money you now pay transporter to ship it for you is more than what you, or if not equivalent. It's not supposed to be so. It should be cheaper. Reason is that transporter, the logistic company you contacted for that services has looked at it that, what can I do? Government need to come in, and there should be, that's where what we discussed earlier on having in form of a commissioner, you understand, under the Ministry of Transportation to cater for this. There will be no need of, when you have collect all your paper that is government, your certified paper to operate, I don't think you should be spending more again. And you collect, for example, you are collecting emblem for 774 local government. If I show you, it's voluminous, over 60 pages. Yes, you pay huge amount of money per truck, per vehicle. Somebody is still stopping you to tip you at every junction of a street. People are collecting money from your hand. It shouldn't be. Government should come to the aid of the logistic company to reduce this. By so doing that, if they know that the only government money they pay is the one with receipt, that's why today, foreign investment, how will you explain to some American guys or some guys that have company here, and you are their staff, and they are there monitoring you, tell them that I pay a tout 5,000 naira. Well, how will you write it? Got no receipts. That's where the trust issue comes to play. In some company started looking at the way people are siphoning money, but it happened. Most of them, when they not come down here to stay with you for a while, or even go on the field sometime, they see themselves, they know, wow, it's difficult to do business in Nigeria, but there is money here.
Indeed. Well, we'll have to just wrap it up now. And I'd like to get your final thoughts on this issue of the growth and development of the logistics sector in Nigeria.
Yeah, it's growing. And there is nothing. The growing is, there is no one that can stop it. Whether government decide to invest or they choose You understand? Decide to invest, or they choose not to invest, the logistics sector in Nigeria, with the private sectors that are handling it currently, will grow it to the level that can compete to any nation in the world. I know that. And it's just from now till in 5 years to come, Nigerian logistics will compete with the like of any other big nations in the world.
All right, we'll just leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, Abdullahi Alibaba, logistics expert at Jumia Nigeria. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Well, this is where we'll wrap it up on today's edition of Business Breakfast. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Omobolandi Adeshui. Have a good day. Bye for now.